The Casino Ballroom in Hampton Beach has been there for 125 years. For 125 years, anyone who was anyone in entertainment ended up playing there. The list of legends runs from Ray Charles and Duke Ellington, Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, George Carlin and Sam Kinison, Artie Shaw to Ziggy Marley. They all played here. It's a small venue with a big history. But for one night only, the greatest show in this century-old seaside mecca of art and entertainment was a fight.
He takes fights on quick notice, and you know what? The one thing about him, he can fight.
And this goes down today as still one of my toughest.
You know who Emanuel Augustus is?
Yeah.
That guy is an artist. Doing a thing in this beautiful, deceptive way. He's dancing.
It's the best body puncher I've seen since Joe Frazier. Oh,
big uppercut by Ward. I told you he was
body. If you're creating a perfect fighter, I take Micky Ward's left hook to the body as the most devastating single body punch in all of boxing. Not the first time, it won't be the last that we see him end it.
This was essentially a hometown show for Irish Micky Ward, hailing from just over the state line in Lowell, Massachusetts. It was a town renowned for its empty mills and full bars. Micky was known for two things. He had a murderous left hook to the liver.
He's battling back.
Good body shot.
And he was solely responsible for setting the pace. Micky only fought one speed, as hard as possible.
The action.
In the other corner is our frontman. Emanuel, soon to be Augustus, is a sort of avant-garde boxing genius with a level of flow and relaxation rarely seen in a ring. He fought anyone, anywhere.
And he goes into people's hometowns. He doesn't worry about that.
For just about any amount of money, usually on short notice. A hostile crowd meant nothing to him.
You won. And the crowd is turned against Augustus, but even with the help of the crowd, probably going to be too little too late for real.
His playful style sometimes cost him. For the nights he was on, no showman on earth had the same charisma.
Take you a little bit out of the what an uppercut!
An eclectic mix of varied technical skill and complete comfort in the chaos. The third man in this trio is Steve Smoger, the greatest laissez-faire referee in fighting. Sometimes the perfect job is doing the absolute minimum. It was Steve who allowed this to become as great as it did. Because for the entire first round, they never left the corner. And Steve correctly saw no clinch worth breaking. The always unorthodox Augustus is fighting off the ropes out of a hybrid Philly shell crossguard like Archie Moore. While Ward bores in behind his classic high-effort high guard, he shifts into southpaw to make the most of his power inside. Before long, each man is firing away with all they have. Augustus had no choice but to take this seriously. Fought beautifully off the ropes like a Spartan in the shade, but this was Micky Ward's territory, both in and outside of the ring. Looking cornered in an opponent's hometown is no way to win a war. Landing this often and this accurately might be. It was an absolute tone setter of a round one. Augustus opens up round two, moving and punching, trying to make Ward pay for the space he takes while letting more of his personality show. The first minute of the round was Augustus playing and punching with the pressure fighter, keeping him turning with a wide smile on his face. While the second half of the round is Ward pushing the pace to a vicious sprint along the ropes. Augustus fights back brave and brilliant as ever, an artist gladly lost in his life's work.
He had his right hand in the perfect spot, Daddy.
At the end of every round, Steve Smoger has to literally dive in to separate them at his own peril.
Real tight. Bert, you can do that. Hey, the rope's a little bit loose. He can do it.
Augustus inevitably dominated the early part of the round,
Ward did not throw a single jab.
boxing beautifully on the back foot and increasingly holding his own stepping around. Before Ward can finally get squared up on him and force him back to the ropes for another full minute in the phone booth. While the high-paced inside fight is Ward's A-game, Emmanuel was having moments of brilliance,
Bert will start climbing.
kept Ward honest.
Very selective with his punches. He's looking to create a little room. Bert, you can do that. Hey, the rope's
Augustus thrived under a pace that allowed him and forced him to show the full extent of his ability. How little space and time he needs to create something beautiful. Steve stage dives through an exchange long after the end of the third round and takes a hook from Augustus for his trouble. Before the replay is even finished, the next round begins, and they just immediately clinched up, and Ward is on the ropes. Everywhere you look on screen is just chaos. By the middle of round 4, they had not stopped throwing punches. Ward has gone from pressed against the ropes, and now forced Augustus all the way back across the ring through sheer force of stubbornness with a bit of help from power and leverage. Augustus had a counter for every lead. It was fought at a pace somewhere between chaotic and hellish. No time to think, just raw reaction on pure instinct. Not a single second of wasted time. All killer, no filler. I'm out of breath just watching them. The intensity never dips or relents. Both are throwing over 100 punches around.
These are two seasoned.
Micky Ward was the stronger man and the bigger puncher. But Emanuel Augustus was more diligent on defense and the more accurate puncher.
Ward missing with those punches.
The rounds are virtually impossible to score and only seem to ramp up in intensity. The only question being how long could this possibly last?
Try to catch Bert. Burton's winning the exchange and winning the round. Bombs away.
Micky would try to cut the firefight short with one decisive shot. Micky's hook to the liver was freakish. For whatever reason, there was a bizarre speed and snap to it. A product of spending years working on a road crew, shoveling asphalt between fights because boxing wasn't covering the bills. A product of pure work. For once in his life, Emanuel Augustus isn't smiling, but he isn't done either. It was an electric mix of the raw, driving, determined energy of Micky Ward against the depth and breadth of a lifetime of casual, technical brilliance of Augustus. They brought out the best in each other and rose to the new level of the fighter in front of them.
Most of those punches from Ward.
All in a tightly packed room, only air-conditioned by an ocean-side breeze on a humid July night. There is a beautiful moment as the 10th and final round begins. The glove touch is an outpouring of mutual respect, a truce that instantly turns back to total war. Just as it comes back to a boil, Micky loses his footing. Emanuel Augustus sees Micky slip. Rather than take the opportunity to punish, Augustus instead pulls a punch in a firefight. It was respect and sportsmanship in the middle of an all-out brawl that had gone down to the wire. As the final chaotic, majestic round comes to a close, for once, Steve Smoger doesn't have to risk eating a punch to break them. Steve hugs them together, hung off their shoulders like three old friends partying after a night of drinking. I don't know what he said to them, but I bet it was perfect. Wins and losses matter little in comparison to what they came together to produce. For the record, Micky Ward was given the nod.
By unanimous decision,
It makes sense when considering Micky was coming forward. Got the knockdown. And is fighting in his own backyard. But Emanuel Augustus, quite frankly, did far, far better than the biased scoring would have you believe. Ward threw more punches. Augustus was far more accurate. Steve Smoger sensed the home cooking, the mood of the overawed audience, and a true appreciation of what he witnessed as a fan of the fight game. Walks over to Augustus and raises his hand, because nobody loses a fight like this one. Fewer than 500 lucky souls saw it in person. As the breathless crowd dispersed into the New Hampshire night, they all had new friends. Because there's things in this world that have to be seen in person to believe. And in seeing it, you bond with those lucky enough to have seen it too. Some rooms you can never really leave.
5 rules will be used for the main event. They are as follows.
It was named Fight of the Year.
Carry the round. We're not in Manila, but this is the throw-in Hampton Beach. This is
Because, of course, it was.
trying to catch Burton, and he's going. Burton's winning. Bombs away.
Micky had a bad habit of winning that award. Augustus went down as boxing's most beloved journeyman. For one night only, no act in the hallowed history of that century-old venue could hold a candle to this firefight.